morning, everybody. We are back, and I welcome you all once again to another episode of 205 Live Matters. Now, I'm just a simple man, and my name is Noah Foster, and of course, with me, he is my co-host. We are the Simple Holiday. He's a family man, passionate wrestling fan. We are cruiserweight loving men when it comes to their in-ring action, athleticism, and storytelling. It's, of course, my good friend here, Holiday Christopher Mace. Chris, how are you? It has been quite a while since these quarantine times.
Yeah, it has been, folks. And like I said, everybody who knows what's going on, what happened on Memorial Day, I just want to take a moment of my time to tell everybody thank you for all the love and support that's been going on. Everything's going okay. Just got to go one day at a time with it and push on forward because, life, like a blink of an eye, snap of a finger, something can change in your life drastically. So thank you for all love and support for everybody who's been there. I appreciate it. And now it's time to get back and talk about wrestling, something that I do love to talk about, especially 205 Live and the Cruiserweight division, definitely.
This brand has not just been brought on by me. We literally built this together, and I could not be happier to be back with my friend and co-host in 205 Live Matters, which is why we waited a long time. But not only because of that, as you all know, and I pray that you all, please, be safe, don't be a bully, think smart, wash your hands, and care about one another, and treasure your families and your possessions, but more so your family, because tomorrow's never guaranteed, and again, anything could be gone like that. The GoFundMe, by the way, is still in the description. Please continue to help my friend. With that being said, 4 weeks now, we had literally best of matches that we've literally discussed. We discussed every episode, so it's part of the reason why we also took hiatus, that and the fact that I was working on my home office setup, including figuring out Skype's new background feature, which I find pretty cool. We had best ofs from the Brian Kendrick, Arya Davari, the Singh brothers, good freaking lord, and Oni Lorcan. And again, it was all matches that we discussed in previous 205 Live Matters episodes. For those of you who are watching the series for the first time, but you care about Cruiserweight Wrestling, you might not understand 205 Live, but you may want to know more about 205 Live, I encourage you, please look at the playlist and listen to previous episodes of 205 Live Matters. It's at the heart of this YouTube channel. It's been the reason I got into YouTube. I hope you can appreciate what I do and appreciate more so what the Cruiserweights do. It's not about me. It's about wrestling. And we finally got it back on the purple brand as the Cruiserweights have been brought back into action after such a long time for the last few weeks now. And apparently there have been some solid changes. There might be a couple of additions to the Cruiserweight division, and maybe Byron Saxton and Corey Graves are the new duo. And honestly, based on their characters, I feel like that duo could work. And I do find respect for Corey Graves because he was there for the inaugural episode of 205 Live Matters. Now, despite other things that he's known for, I'm just looking at him from the commentary standpoint for this brand since its inception. That's all I'm going to say about that. With that being said, the Cruiserweights did resume action as of May 15th. So on this episode, there's a lot to think about. We're going to break down 3 episodes for you because they're all under half an hour. Good grief. The hottest hour on television. You're going to have to fix that line, Corey. Botch. We're also going to talk about what's been the focus on the NXT brand and why we think it's also weird and much more. With that, I've already gave you a bit of an index of what's going to happen. Let's go ahead and get started. So first off, Chris, we've been watching 205 Live Matters, of course, and we've been waiting for them to come back. And I feel like they did. And once again, they do the simple 2-match format each episode. And it seems like we're getting more debuts now and maybe some new rising stars, but as well as the battle still of OGs versus NXT. And that was definitely the example here with this first episode as of May 15th. Our matches were Tyler Breeze versus, and yes, folks, this is an actual name. Chris, hold your laugh. Tahuti Miles. Okay, I don't blame him. Tahuti. Sounds like a friggin' candy. Tahuti. Oh, good grief. Anyway, Tyler Breeze versus Tahuti Miles. I say that 3 times fast with a straight face. And the main event, basically this made the most sense to me because it literally was just pending since the last time 205 Live literally did action with the Captain's Choice match. Tony Nese and Jack Gallagher finally got it on. So with that being said, what we usually do here for those that tune in for the first time, since the way 205 Live has reformatted itself, we basically go briefly over each match and each combatant, give our takeaways, think about who was the strongest performer, and think about what might be next for the performer too. So with that being said, Chris Mace, I gotta ask you, what did you think about Mr. Tahuti Miles and what I believe is his 205 Live debut? We all know he's been in squash matches on Raw, not that that actually matters, but he's also an NXT superstar. So give me your thoughts on Tahuti Miles' 205 Live debut against Prince Pretty, Tyler Breeze.
Velveteen Dream 2.0. And if you look at his mannerisms and the character that he's portraying, you would think, obviously, okay, he's got to be related to Velveteen Dream. You would really think that just watching. The Tyler Breeze match was interesting to me. It's just one of those things. It's like, okay, I'm getting into it. You got Prince Pretty versus Miles. I'm not going to say his first name because it's going to make me start singing Tutti Frickin' Fruity. No offense, y'all, but that's what I'm going to think of on this. Yeah. So, but a match itself was pretty good. Like I said, he had his moments here. Tyler Breeze, getting the win. It's interesting because we break down these 3 episodes. It's a lot to me of like 50-50 booking, or somebody wins, somebody loses, they win, lose. And that's something that's interesting lately because it normally is not like that. But these 3 episodes, when we get further into it, it seems like you'll see one guy like Tyler Breeze one week, and then later on we'll talk about it. It's like, okay, now what? Okay, and then you did this. Okay, now what? What are we going with? So this match to me was pretty interesting. I think it was pretty good showing for his debut, but we'll talk about it more as we keep going on in the other episodes that we've just seen as well.
Right. And another thing to consider, Tyler Breeze, he was not involved at all in this interim Cruiserweight Championship tournament that's been strictly on NXT. Okay, I just got to get this off my chest. Why was this not on 205 Live when it's literally Cruiserweight surrounded? You literally could have built 205 Live around this tournament alone to garner more attention. Now, I get it. NXT is the more popular brand. They're trying to make it equal to the red and the blue. But we know Vince is never going to do that. But still, you literally put this on NXT, I feel, for 2 reasons. 1, maybe you're trying to bring more attention to the Cruiserweight division, which I can respect. And 2, you probably used it as major filler for your NXT product because of your lack of roster or lack of stars prepared for in-ring action. Now, to NXT's credit, you're still better than Raw and SmackDown. Simple as that. But you need to do more to bring more attention, not to just NXT, but 205 Live. If you're going to put them all under the freaking the NXT umbrella. Otherwise, you might as well change the colors of 205 Live to black and gold. Because it sounds like you're treating this the way that they treat Main Event, and the fact that some of the biggest damn stars are on Main Event versus Raw or SmackDown still sickens me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
All right, put the glasses back on. Calm down.
I'm fine. And there's another reason why he's here.
Woosha. Rub the ears, woosha.
Good cop, bad cop relationship here, pretty much, okay? He's the voice of reason. I'm the freaking Jim Cornette that could go off the rails without being... You know what? Never mind. Based on what the world's doing, I'm not even going to say it. Anyway. All right. Anyway. So, yeah, Tyler Breeze faced as Mr. Miles, a.k.a. Velveteen Dream's brother, a.k.a. Prince's long-lost brother. Imagine if these two are a tag team. That could probably actually work. A lot of mannerisms, particular word to find him this match. Swag. I can see that becoming a shirt. Good grief. And he really, I feel like, was more so trying to just show off his character, was really more full of himself. As he had many, many times during this match, I feel like to actually get the win in his debut. Because he had Tyler Breeze, for the most part, on the ropes. However, Tyler Breeze, he showed endurance, tenacity, and willpower as he constantly kept fighting back at this guy. I don't even know what to define him as yet. Mr. Swag, maybe that'll be his nickname. They don't have a nickname for this guy yet, folks. Anyway, at one point, it was literally about who's the prettiest one, as he literally yells at Tyler Breeze, I'm the pretty one, and then he hits a supermodel kick, and at the end of the match, I'm prettier, boom, Tyler Breeze gets the win. So here's my takeaways from this. He got into the ref space way too many times. By the way, shout out to the referee, she did a great job. And I feel like he was more so about his ego, but he shows potential, as Corey Graves subtly put it. Sometimes Corey Graves actually speaks something intelligent, folks, believe it or not. And basically, Breeze, he continues to show why 205 Live is really becoming his brand. I'm happy to see that because since coming to 205 Live, it's really put him at a strong showcase. Unlike other places, you can guess where. So we'll have to wait and see more from this Miles guy because, again, this was his very first 205 Live match. I think it's too soon to judge him. As far as Tyler Breeze goes, 205 Live brand only has one title. No matter what, you gotta prove why you're worthy of challenging for it. I think this was the first step towards it, especially with the fact he was not involved in the tournament at all, which we're going to discuss later. So following that, we go back to the Captain's Choice match, which apparently was 2 months ago. And Nice was eliminated first after some subtleties and confusion shared among the gentleman Jack Gallagher, or the new gentleman Jack Gallagher, however you want to put it. Next thing you know, they shared pleasantries outside the ring even after he's eliminated, and this match was basically made months in the making. As Tony Nese has been partaking in the interim Cruiserweight Championship tournament, also with another former rival, still rival I might add, as we still have that battle of NXT versus 205 Live OGs in Isaiah or Scott. And apparently there's some weird, I don't know, maybe brand ship shown here between the OGs, as Tony Nese causes Isaiah Swerve Scott his match with Jack Gallagher, attacking him prematurely before the bell, and Jack Gallagher with a ridiculous rolling elbow strike. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
He knocks out Isaiah Swerve Scott out of the NXT Cruiserweight Championship interim championship tournament. That is a mouthful, folks. Championship tournament. And again, this was also brought on based on words that Isaiah Swerve Scott said prior to this match. But these words were also brought up prior to another match he had later on a 205 episode. We'll get more of that later. Well, let's go ahead and talk about literally this OG match that was nothing but just downright physical. But both men, they knew each other very well. Counter for counter for counter. It was a very competitive match. In the end, the gentleman Jack Gallagher, he counters out of rolling knees. He counters out of multiple sunset drivers, including a near fall. And he pulls off, after a ridiculous headbutt early in the match, by the way, stopping Nese's heart dead in his tracks. Damn. He does pull off that rolling elbow strike and gets the win off the premier athlete. But there's one more message to this. We are not done yet. What does that mean? Is there respect? Is there still hostility? Is he still trying to prove something to himself against Tony Nese at the expense of Tony Nese? Because honestly, Tony Nese right now lately has been the butt of the Cruiserweight division. Hands down. Chris, your thoughts on this match? This was wild.
This was a hard-hitting match. I would love to see a rematch with them, and I would love to see them do a 30-minute Iron Man match and see what they can pull off. Now, I know the new formula, they've been doing 30 minutes, but if they did a 30-minute episode, just these two having a 30-minute Iron Man match to blow it all off, because I think this is far from over. Jack Gallagher has this new persona, this new personality, which I said for a long time on this show, he needed to change. He needed to do something different. He needed to stop being this tweener. You could tell he is like a Stone Cold version in the Cruiserweight division. He's that Stone Cold-like character in the Cruiserweight division with that attitude, don't give no shits about anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tony Nese has fallen so from grace from when he won that Cruiserweight championship from Buddy Murphy, and then after he lost it, I don't know what they're going to do with Tony Nese, especially with Drew Gulak not being there anymore. I don't know what they need to do with Tony Nese, but they need to do something, because you got a talented athlete with Tony Nese. He is an incredible wrestler. Yes, folks, I said wrestler, not sports entertainer.
Thank you.
Tony Nese can do a whole lot more than what he's doing. This match was a hard-hitting match. The gentleman getting the win, that was the right decision to me. I think he needed to do this, get this big win, because it's a big win for him. But I'm tired of seeing Tony Nese taking the losing falls on all these matches he's been in, because he is so much more to that Cruiserweight division than what they're doing with him right now.
Yeah, he's a former Cruiserweight champion.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jack Gallagher literally fell into the cover off a rolling elbow. I'm surprised he didn't beat him earlier after stopping the running knees with his freaking headbutting freaking Tony Nese's heart. Good God, probably going to need a defibrillator. And again, here's my fear, Chris. I feel like Tony Nese might be becoming the Dolph Ziggler of the Cruiserweight division.
I don't know about that yet. If he keeps losing, which we'll talk about more later as we get to other episodes, if they keep having him being on a losing streak like they're doing, then I can see the point. But I don't want him. I think he's too talented to be the guy that's so good that he puts over all the other stars. I think he's too talented for that. I think you have more potential with him later down the road. Even if he went on the main roster, for example, which I don't want him to, he would have more potential to being a champion there than a lot of the other guys they have right now currently.
Yeah, and with the other rosters in a state of flux right now, bringing in other talent, trying to showcase new talent, trying to build new stars, keyword trying. Who knows at this point anymore? With that being said, let's go into the following week after that as we go into May 22nd, and we have a tag team showcase, which apparently involves Corey Graves' favorite tag team. I had no idea. The 1-2 connection of Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch versus Everrise. And why do I say Everrise? Because literally that's their name. That's the only thing you really should care about this tag team right now because they literally just got squashed. Basically, people, they are Marielle and Parker. Apparently, according to Corey, one of them was literally with Corey Graves when he was in NXT. So I guess that shows you how long they kept this guy. Or maybe they let go of him and brought him back for some reason. I don't know what to think of Everrise yet as far as a tag team because this is now their second straight loss to the 1-2 connection. But I will say this. They showed a little bit more aggression and control here against Only Looking at Danny Burch during this match versus their match on NXT, which literally was a couple days before this show. Only though with a quick start, Everrise takes over for a small moment, but then Danny Burch comes in like hellfire off a hot tag. At one point, there's a blind tag and an interesting tag move with Samoan drop swing and net breaker combination. Near fall for Everrise. I would have been bloody shocked if they won. But you know what? 205 Live, it could use more tag teams. Maybe we'll finally have someone to challenge the Singh brothers. Just saying, Chris. But anyway, cross-face half-crab dual submission combination by the 1-2 connection gives them the win again over Everrise. And that was our opening bout. And following that, because this show was more so an idea of how you build Only Lorcan and Danny Burch, who have been foundations of 205 Live lately, versus what's going on right now with a couple of 205 Live's great single stars. Before I get into that, because there's definitely more stories in the main event than there was this opening match, and time too. And I will say this, when it comes to the matches on this show, even the 30-minute time limit, at least they do give some strong time, especially to the main events, which we'll be discussing shortly. Chris, do you have any further thoughts on Everrise or your boy Only Lorcan with his partner Danny Burch? Because I feel like the 1-2 connection, they might be trying to put their name out there to challenge for, I don't know, NXT Tag Team Gold.
Oh my God, Lorcan and Burch is the only tag team that I ever said gave a 5-star rating on the NXT party. Shout out Stephen and Jerry for their match with the grizzled young veterans. Those guys can perform at a high level as a tag team. This match was a little bit different than the one we saw in NXT, so I thought it was good because of the fact they did something a little bit differently, which is always a good thing. Change it up. Don't do the same kind of match on two different shows so shortly apart from each other, which is good storytelling because Everrise changed up what they did from their first matchup to now, which is good because that means storytelling is you're telling that, okay, we learned from what we did the first time. We're going to try something different, a new approach, which is good.
Yes.
Only Lorcan, Danny Burch, I want to see him challenge Imperium for the tag titles. Will they win them? I would love for them to win them and bring them on 205 Live. Will it happen? I'm optimistic that it's a possibility, but Only Lorcan, Danny Burch need the tag titles. Those two guys, whether you get the NXT tag titles or eventually the NXT UK tag titles, whenever the NXT UK brand is coming back, whatever set of tag team titles they ever can get, I want them to win tag team gold. Those guys as a tag team damn sure deserve it for the work they put in, either as singles or tag team. They deserve to have a run with the tag titles.
I literally was watching a takeover where you might remember they put themselves on the map with the Irons as a tag team when they faced my boys in the Undisputed Era for the tag team gold. Came this close. They have faced Gallows previously for the tag team gold. Came this close. But they have been one of the longest, strongest, put together teams standing up to one another, forming this tag team after beating the hell out of each other in singles matches that have yet to achieve that milestone as a tag team gold. So I really would like to see them eventually get it. Now, the question is against who and when, I don't know. But maybe this is Imperium's first stop on proving why the mat is sacred. And stay tuned, folks. We might be doing Simple Predict on NXT TakeOver in your house. And that match isn't made official, but honestly, it's got to be coming if you watched NXT. Shout out, by the way, to Aftermatch Wrestling. For all those that follow the Black and Gold brand like me and Chris, I encourage you to please subscribe to Aftermatch Wrestling and follow What's NXT and join in the NXT UK Tea Party. But I digress. Cheap plug for you guys. All right. Yeah, and Everrise, again, I like the fact they showed something else here. It wasn't the same match, even though it was the same result. And I feel that goes a long way in trying to prove why you are an effective tag team. It's not like we're putting two random dudes together that are great singles competitors, and they have maybe an awesome flair finish, but then you mix the results where it's like, okay, squash team, they win. Okay, main team, they lose. Okay, squash team, they lose. What? What are you doing? Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'll talk.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting idea based on what my good friend, the General Jerry Slaughter. I wonder if his body finally forgave him for what he did to himself. We'll talk more about that later. The team, I mean, not the Jerry thing. If you want to go find out, again, Aftermatch Wrestling. Jerry, you're a freaking fool. Not respect to you. Don't ever do that crap again. All right. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about a match that was very interesting to me, as you and I talked about in the very beginning of this cruiserweight tournament when it was made. Our finals, we expected it to be Kushida versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. That is definitely not the case, as Isaiah Swerve Scott only got one win out of 3 in the freaking tournament and got booted. And now it's like, okay, he had a chance for the freaking cruiserweight title back at Worlds Collide in that crazy 4-way. Lost on that. And now he had a chance to try and go for the title here. Lost out on it. What is next for this guy? What does he need to do? And he's so confident, right? Swerve is confidence. Okay, is his confidence dwindling now? Does he still have it? And at one point he said if he was kicked out of the tournament, he might as well not wrestle. I was like, that's a bold claim. Who you think you are? Another person from a different company? Then again, you don't have as many years as him. But anyway, it was Isaiah Swerve Scott trying to bounce back against Prince Pretty, Tyler Breeze. These two are no strangers to each other as they shared the ring before each other on 205 Live. And guess what? I believe Isaiah Swerve Scott won both those times, because I believe Isaiah Swerve Scott, he faced Tyler Breeze in his debut. Anyway, this match was interesting from the get-go. When I saw Swerve's entrance, the gear was different, the demeanor was different. There was no smile, there were no shades. I didn't see that, style he comes to the ring with. It looked more like doubt, anger, depression, and self-questioning. And it showed in this match where I thought literally he botched a couple of his key spots, including a follow-up kick after a kick counter and trying later on. And he was able to gather his bearings, and these two had a really competitive match. Following this, Breeze mostly in control. Swerve, though, he gets a ridiculous, I forget what Breeze said or did to him, but out of nowhere, damn, ridiculous knockout right. Snapped Breeze's jaw. Oh no, the moneymaker. Anyway, Swerve showed ruthless aggression. Go figure. There's a roll through flatliner later on for the match for a fall. He was starting to feel something. He probably should win here. I did not see that, obviously. Counter for roll up, and next thing you know, there was a beautiful German bridge into a near fall. Not enough. And then he goes for his traditional finisher, the house call, misses it, plain as day. And then I'm like, okay, this is bad. If Tyler Breeze wins here, what does it mean for Swerve? And it looked like he was going to as he hits that supermodel kick out of nowhere for 1, 2, near fall. It wasn't until towards the end of the match where that Swerve was trying to go for a type maneuver, and he got caught in, you might know this from Will Ospreay, Chicky Nando's position, but he caught out of that, kicking Prince Pretty. And then apparently it has a name now, and maybe this was the story of the match. Maybe this move right now will define his motives going forward, because I didn't know it had a name before this. I thought it was like a Rubik's Cube. The suspended, inverted power bomb off the top ropes with Tyler Breeze, called the confidence boost, finally gives Swerve the win in this great competitive affair. Showing respect afterwards too. 1, 2, 3. So now I think about this. As you said, it is 50-50 booking. Breeze won 1 week, Breeze lost that week. Swerve, I don't know what's his plan going forward, but he's lost down NXT Gold twice now, but he has bounced back on 205 Live. Will he continue to wrestle on 205 Live to try and build momentum before going back to the Black and Gold brand to contend maybe for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship? Only time will tell. But this match was not only a very good wrestling match, it was an interesting story about a man who was questioning, can I still do it? Do I still have Swerve? Chris, your thoughts on this match?
Good storytelling, because with Swerve, like I said, we predicted it would be Kushida and Swerve for the NXT Interim Cruiserweight Championship, and whoever won that match would probably end up facing Jordan Devlin in a ladder match to determine the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Champion.
Yep.
But that's not what's going to happen. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but it's good storytelling because, Swerve's doubting himself, and you have the doubt, and can he do it? Can he do it? And he's, it's interesting because, we understand it's wrestling that people do botch and mess up their moves, but I think in this match it was done purposely to tell a story of self-doubt and the loss of confidence, and that's why he didn't have that smile, that swagger about him, that, that confidence level that he's going to beat everybody and win. Great storytelling. If you complain that, well, he botched, I believe it was more done purposely to tell a story about self-doubt and everything like that, and him getting the win, like I said, with the confidence booster. I think the story was really well done. However, they got to stop doing 50-50 booking where they have one guy win 1 week, lose 1 week. I know you're a limited roster, but eventually, like I said, Tyler, we talked about earlier how somebody was more like Dolph Ziggler. Tony Nese was more of the Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
You better think about Tyler Breeze being more of the Dolph Ziggler. You got such a great talent. People forget he was in that fatal four-way match for the NXT title back years ago. How talented Tyler Breeze can be. Forget all the comedy acts that he did with Fandango. Forget all that stuff. And look at him as a wrestler. He has got the talent. And the thing is, this 50-50 booking, I feel like Tyler Breeze is becoming more like a Dolph Ziggler before Tony Nese.
That's interesting considering how many character changes, you're right, that Tyler Breeze has gone through. While Tony Nese, he's kind of stayed consistently just himself, believing that he is the best cruiserweight in the world. I got at least 15 of those people that will challenge you for that name. But anyway, yeah, and I guess we'll see what's next for Swerve. But we know what's next for Tyler Breeze. And mad respect to Tyler Breeze. I mean, he's been working it pretty much every week, it seems, for 205 Live since it came back. This week, though, was a little bit different as they finally built their own live crowd vibe. And to me, this was definitely a boost in my enjoyment of the 205 Live brand. Shout out to all the performers in the Performance Center and some of the NXT talent that was there as well. I hope they give you chairs because good grief. Anyway, this match featuring a live audience type of environment, it started off May 29th with Tyler Breeze versus Tony Nese. Now, this was interesting, considering we know the records of both these men. Tyler Breeze been 50-50 on 205 Live. Tony Nese, he has already lost in the last couple of weeks in 205 Live. He was not involved in last week's affairs at all. And also, they brought the solid note that Tyler Breeze beat Tony Nese in his 205 Live debut. So from that standpoint, you kind of saw where this was going. But I will say this. Both men, they had a great opener. Sometimes the main event necessarily doesn't take as long as the opener because they dedicate more time to the match that tells the bigger story here. And I feel like right now the bigger story is Tony Nese. What the hell's next for you, dude? And it showed here with this match. Chris, your thoughts on this match, considering what you think about booking and your outlook on Tyler Breeze and Tony Nese. Boy, did Tony Nese work the crowd, too.
Man, this match was interesting. And this is why I said what's been kind of aggravating with this as of late is because, yes, we know you're working with a limited roster, but you can't. If you're going to build up your future cruiserweight division, you have to have certain people that are established that you want to need the number one contender. Yes, we have the NXT Interim Cruiserweight Championship Tournament. Yes, eventually Jordan Devlin is going to come back and prove why he is the Irish Ace and why he is the best damn cruiserweight on that division right now.
Damn right.
However, Tony Nese and Tyler Breeze deserve more of an opportunity with what's going on. Tyler Breeze wasn't even involved in this NXT Interim Cruiserweight Tournament. Tony Nese, they both needed the win. Tony Nese getting the win, that's great. I'm glad he got the win in this affair. However, you put Tyler Breeze on here. He won his first 4 matches on 205 Live brand. I know we talked about that in previous episodes. They were building him up, and then it's just like, oh, okay, we built you up a little bit. Now it's time to knock you down. Who needed to win more? Tony Nese, I believe, needed to win more at this point. Tyler Breeze has been around long enough that, yes, as much as I hate that they're doing it like they're doing it with the win-loss, win-lose, 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 tag you're it, no tag you're it, that crap, Tyler Breeze will not be as affected as much as if Tony Nese keeps losing. Tony Nese, at right this point, could be the bigger star, whether it's still on the 205 Live brand or any other brand going to the future. So Tony Nese needed to win more than Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze has already been the established veteran. If you think about it long run, he was there at the beginning of the NXT brand itself. He's been there for the long haul. He's had his moments on the main roster. He's had his moments with everything else. He's had his moments. I said Tony Nese needed this win more, and that's what happened.
Well, you also got to consider this, too. Tyler Breeze, he has yet to win any championship gold in his WWE career. In NXT and Raw, and he's been on it all practically, okay? So, yeah, it feels like you're absolutely right. He might very well be the guy that is great in the ring as far as character-wise goes. Can be a great worker, but maybe he will be used just to really enhance NXT and 205 Live, more so seems the Cruiserweight division. Because Tony Nese, OG of 205 Live, yes, I agree, he clearly needed to win more here based on his recent streak of matches on 205 Live, and especially NXT, which we'll get into shortly. Again, though, very competitive bout, and it could have gone either way. It really picked up when you had the sunset flip in the opener, countered into a rolling kick that knocked Breeze's bicuspids. And then springboard moves up, vintage Tony Nese. That's one of his traditional moves. But then there was some really interesting stuff here as a modified big ending. So you tell me you want to face Big E? That would actually not be a bad match, actually. I thought that was a very interesting move, and it shows that they are trying to evolve, in my opinion, Tony Nese particularly. Because I always wonder, Tony Nese, what do you need to do to reach that next step to show us why you believe in yourself so much that you are the premier athlete? Why do you deserve to be Cruiserweight champion again? The fact that his moves are increasing, okay? He's enhancing his move set. I think that's a good first step forward. Again, so storytelling, as you said. He did whatever he could to try and win this. He goes for running knees, Tyler Breeze gets out of the ring, and then basically Tyler Breeze gains advantage working Tony Nese's leg. The same leg, I might add, that he uses for the running knees. Following this, he utilizes this spot that he made and puts it into a half crab. At one point, I thought Tony Nese was going to tap out. I can't remember the last time Tony Nese lost via submission. He did not, though. I'm going to say it. He showed grit, and he literally made it to the ropes. And after this, there was a suplex into double stomp, ouch, compressing Tyler Breeze's chest, and then a flatline into Uranagi. Strong offense shown combination, still not enough. There was a spinning elbow follow-up, though, both men showing fatigue and exhaustion. As the crowd, they chanted, they clapped. They did everything you would think from a typical crowd. Again, kudos to them. And following this, there was a running knees, and to the chagrin of some of the NXT-based audience, Tyler Breeze loses, and Tony Nese picks up a big win, garnering momentum now in his direction on the 205 Live brand, while Tyler Breeze, I feel like he bounced back with this, but chances are he's going to be in action at NXT in the coming weeks. And honestly, based on Tyler Breeze's, mute demeanor, it seems that he brings to the ring, I don't even know if the guy's, fully happy with what he's doing, or he knows what's to come, or what. But I thought Tyler Breeze had a really good showing here, and I thought the right guy won. Okay. So following this, before we go into our main event with our favorite name, they did recap the events of the NXT Interim Cruiserweight Championship Tournament that led us to our finals. And I'm just going to briefly say this. In the end, it came down to 3 men for 1 block, proving why they deserved to face the guy that was the top of the other block, the B block. It came down to Kushida, Jake Atlas, and of all people, Drake Maverick. And somehow, Drake Maverick, he got the win, literally by an arm length, okay? Because Sakuraba lock on Jake Atlas by Kushida, and he literally was tapping out outside the ref's view, but the ref sees Drake drape an arm over on top of Kushida's chest while Kushida, he had his shoulders clearly down on the mat, And literally, oh, excuse me, it was actually Jake Atlas. Literally, the ref counted that. Wakashita he won. Drake Maverick won, wins the block, and it will be, ladies and gentlemen, Drake Maverick versus El Hijo del Fantasma. You might know him as King Cuerno from Lucha Underground. For the interim Cruiserweight Championship this week on NXT. The go-home NXT, I might add, to NXT TakeOver in your house, which I find rather interesting. That's non-takeover, but I digress. But anyway, before we talk more about the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, our thoughts on that match, following the tournament, there was one match left on this show that surprised the hell out of me, only because of the end. And I'm just going to sum it up, and then Chris can take it away, because I'm sure he has a lot to think about now about the guy with what you said earlier. Our main event was Danny Burch versus, sorry, Chris, Tahuti Miles. And basically, Tahuti, he shows swag. Damn it! He shows swag. And again, he was very full of himself. And Danny Burch, he had enough of that shit. As he literally punches the man square in the mouth, clocks his jaw, much to Corey's grin, and mine too, because I like watching Danny Burch fight. Because that's what Danny Burch is. The governor is a brawler, and I love it. Downright mat brawl at one point during this match. And literally, it didn't take much, though, for Tahuti to gain control after he gets a drop kick in on Danny Burch. But again, he gets full of himself. He waves the hair back for whatever reason. And literally, Burch gets tired of this. Eventually, he comes back with an unleashed fury, shades of Only Lorcan, offensive strikes, and a bunch of rights. But here's the thing. Towards the end, as a combination of jockeying for control, Mr. Tahuti Miles gets the win via roll-up and a handful of tights to everybody's freaking surprise, including Corey Graves and mine. So in Tahuti Miles' second match under 205 Live, he beats the governor by dirty shenanigans. So clearly we know this guy, he's going to be a heel on this brand. I don't know what really to think about this guy, besides he's more eagle and show than I think in ring, but he has potential. And Danny Burch, I mean, I think he let his emotions get the better of him. He just wanted to beat the guy's brains out. I kind of wish he did. So with that being said, Chris, any further thoughts you want to add on Mr. Miles and the fact he finally got his first win on 205 Live at the expense of the governor?
I wouldn't have minded him getting the win, except he got it over the governor. Like I said, it was a good story, though. You could tell Danny Burch was getting emotionally upset. He could, and that's not his style. You don't see him in matches. So, like I said, it's a different dimension of his character of what he was doing. He was letting this flamboyant character he was wrestling get under his skin, and that's what ended up costing him the match. So, storytelling-wise, was very well done because it's showing a different layer of Danny Burch and what he could do as a performer and a wrestler, because that's the key word, folks, wrestler.
Yes.
But Miles, or a.k.a. Tutti Frutti, whatever I'm going to call him, I don't know right now, Velveteen Dream 2.0, whatever, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm kind of curious where they're going to go with this, because maybe they'll set up a match with him and Only Lorcan, and let's see what he does. And then maybe a tag team match. Maybe he'll team up with Prince Pretty. Maybe that would be an interesting combination of the team right now for the 205 Live brand. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. Right now, this was an interesting way. If you're going to try to build up a new star for 205 Live, yes, he needs to get some wins. He needs to get established. However, I don't think it should have been against Danny Burch when Danny Burch is still one of those relatively new people to the 205 Live brand. He's only been there a couple months. Yeah. I think you were doing a great job establishing him, showing his technical skills, showing that he's more than just a brawler. And like I said, if the end goal is, okay, Lorcan and Burch are going to end up challenging for the NXT tag titles against Imperium and they actually win it, okay, it's not going to be that big. It'll help this guy, Miles, establish himself as a singles wrestler in the Cruiserweight division. But you also still have to establish other guys. And this whole 50-50 booking of you're going to lose one week but win the next week, if you're going to establish the future of wrestling in the Cruiserweight division, These guys have got to get consistent wins on a consistent basis so you can build them up, because whoever wins that NXT Interim Cruiserweight Championship is going to end up facing Jordan Devlin first for the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Yep. And if you don't build up anybody that's going to be credible enough that you could suspend your disbelief that, man, that guy Miles right there, he might have an opportunity to beat Jordan Devlin for that NXT Undisputed Cruiserweight Championship, or he might beat Drake Maverick, or whoever ends up being the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight champion, because it's going to happen, folks. You think Jordan Devlin's going to sit there and take this line down? You damn wrong. The Irish Ace does not. He's already made his point made that he thought it was complete BS. But, hey, the world the way it is, yeah, I understand the situation, what they did. However, it's going to be interesting, but you have to build up stars, and the only way you're going to accurately do that is not have them be 50-50 booking. This is what these last 3 weeks has been about, is I'll win a match and you lose a match, and I'll win, I'll lose. You can't do that to establish somebody that you could take seriously storytelling-wise, because if I look at everything the last 3 weeks I saw, if I want to suspend my disbelief, and everybody's going to get beat by either the Irish Ace or whoever wins the NXT Interim Cruiserweight Championship, because ain't none of them have been built up strong enough as of yet to me to say, man, I really believe that this person's going to win that title. If they face them, they get a one-on-one match for it. You have to do a better job building. And I understand the circumstances of what's going on with the world, but if you're going to continue to do 205 Live and you're going to continue to do this brand, you have to do a better job establishing one or two major stars that you could easily see, man, they can win that Cruiserweight Championship at any time, just 1-3 count away from winning that title. And that's what they need to do better.
All it takes is 3 seconds. As Corey Graves put it, again, Mr. Miles, he did win. It only took 3 seconds. It just took a roll of the tides. And honestly, thinking about Mr. Miles' future, let's think about what you did say, though, about Pruitt himself. You think that Swerve is on this road to confidence. I feel like Mr. Miles might say, I have more confidence than you, and that could become a real rivalry to build finally one of these two towards the picture. I honestly could see Swerve taking on this guy in a really competitive match, because I will say this. I understand, former independent wrestler. He's very talented. I don't remember his real name, but he has had some good matches under his belt. There's a reason why he's part of the 205 Live brand. There's actual wrestlers on this brand that can wrestle. Even the Singh brothers, when they're not going bully. But anyway, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I can actually see Swerve and Miles being a long-term feud here, or even a best-of-7 series type matches. There's a lot of interesting pieces right now moving in 205 Live, with NXT flowing over more talent on this brand, considering what this happened to some of our favorites. But yeah, and I guess we're just going to have to wait and see more from Mr. Miles. And as far as Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, their direction right now is to go to the NXT tag team titles, and I don't think this necessarily affects them because, again, you only affected one half. You didn't affect the other half. And we don't know if Oney Lorcan is going to face Mr. Miles next, even as soon as this Friday. We don't even know what's going to happen this Wednesday, except for one thing. So we're going to have to wait and see as far as the direction of 205 Live goes. But we do know it will be led finally, once again, by at least the belt being on the brand, or at least in the brand's existence. As this Wednesday will finally mark, after weeks of NXT Cruiserweight action, the finals of this NXT Cruiserweight Championship interim tournament. The final records stand as thus, as it was 4 men in 2 blocks each with 3 matches under the belts. And the surprising statistics, I tell you, good grief. And the whole story behind this whole thing, did not see that coming. Kushida ends 2-1, Jake Atlas 2-1, Tony Nese 0-3. You just think about that. And the winner of Group A by the triple threat, Drake Maverick, with a record of 2-1. Group B, it had Akil Tozawa 2-1. It had Isaiah Scott 1-2, and Jack Gallagher 1-2, with the winner being El Hijo del Fantasma 2-1. So it is official. It is El Hijo, I'm just going to say that because it's easier, versus Drake Maverick for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, interim position-wise, this Wednesday on NXT. So there are 2 things I take away from this story. 1, the freaking Cinderella story. Was this all a work, or did Dodie really pull a, no pun intended, swerve on us? And is Drake Maverick actually going to win this? This is as big as Drake Maverick nearly, keyword, nearly beating Kurt Angle for the freaking TNT World Heavyweight Championship after cashing in option C when he was an X Division champion. I know Drake Maverick is more than capable of becoming the NXT Cruiserweight champion, but El Hijo del Fantasma, he's got a pretty strong start under his belt on the NXT banner. So I really don't know how to call this. But then I think about one thing that's been a constant thing around El Hijo. Who the hell is trying to abduct him? There have been masked men out of a friggin' van trying to abduct El Hijo the same way they abducted Raul Mendoza and I forget the other person. And I have no idea who's behind it and no inclination of who it could be. But with that being said, Chris, your thoughts on the story of the interim Cruiserweight Championship tournament, the mystery ascends, and I'm going to let you start. Who is winning the NXT Cruiserweight Championship?
This one is the toughest one to think about from storytelling wise because you have the issues with the masked men. What are they going to do? Is it going to come down to the masked men attacking him and then dragging him off, allowing Drake Maverick to win by a countout?
God, no.
No, because you have had scenarios in tournaments that people have won in the finals by a countout because it does not matter. You have a great match with Chris Jericho versus Dean Malenko where the title was held up and Chris Jericho won the Cruiserweight Championship via disqualification because the title was vacant.
Yep.
There is a scenario to anything. You have this story with Drake Maverick. Whether he was furloughed, has been rehired, this has all been a work and storyline, I honestly don't know. If that was a storyline, bravo, because you got me, buddy. If that was a whole storyline and it worked the whole time, you got me because I felt so horrible with Drake Maverick seeing his videos and what he was saying. You felt horrible for a guy. Now, if this has all been a work and a storyline, you got me. You got my heartstrings pulling for you. You got me invested in you winning. And just the way he won to win Block A was actually one of the smartest booking decisions you do. Yes. Look at the suspension of disbelief. You had Kushida has his lock on Atlas for Drake Maverick to roll over 1, 2, 3 as he's tapping, but the ref counts the 3 instead of awarding the submission. That is probably the most genius way how to do that triple threat match. Creative ways to do it in a long time.
And that's saying something for WWE, but then again, this is NXT and they're a little smarter. Continue.
Yeah, either way, this is going to be an interesting match. This is too hard to call. I feel like at this point I'm more emotionally invested in Drake Maverick becoming the NXT Interim Cruiserweight Champion. Now, with that being said, which match would be better if you did theorize if you do a ladder match for the undisputed title? Jordan Devlin versus Drake Maverick? Or Jordan Devlin versus the other gentleman. I'm not going to say, I don't want to call him Phantasmo because I'm thinking about New Japan. Sorry, folks. But
you're all good.
So, because his name sounds similar if you think about it. So,
it does almost.
So, either way, which match would deliver if you had to build the storyline for the future? But me right now, I feel like Drake Maverick needs this title. It doesn't mean he's going to keep it whenever Jordan Devlin comes back and they can set up somebody else for the ladder match with Jordan Devlin. I think you need that feel-good moment. I think Drake Maverick needs to pull this off and get this win because he was furloughed, folks. Does not mean he was not just outright released. He was furloughed. Therefore, if they could bring him back, they may already have him back. It may have been a real-life situation. They decided, man, look at the reaction he got from Twitter. Look at the reaction he got. People are so – we have to do something. We can do something with this and tell a story. If the story he wins and he has that feel-good moment, that would be great. If they go the other way, I'd be fine with that too. But me just being emotionally invested in what's going on with that storytelling, Drake Maverick, so I think should win.
Oh, jeez. Okay, here's the way I see it. WWE loves to exploit stuff. That'd be the worst case scenario. If this truly is an emotional story, as Drake Maverick put on Twitter, one last match.
Mm-hmm.
If this is his emotional send-off, and he leaves with the Cruiserweight title, wow. I don't know what that means for the Cruiserweight division or 205 Live, because I can't imagine them doing this again on 205 Live just because of that. Or, is this the closest Drake Maverick comes to Cruiserweight Gold on WWE, only to lose it in the most unique circumstances by some sort of roll-up or surprise finish? We've seen how tenacious Drake Maverick can be. He beat Kushida. That was the moment I officially invested myself in Drake Maverick. He beat Kushida one-on-one with a roll-up. No wonder that's the most dangerous move in wrestling. I have followed Drake Maverick, Rockstar Spud, since freaking TNA. And this guy, he knows how to tell a story and emotionally invest you and loves wrestling. What he lives for. Is the reason why I wish he was still the general manager at 205 Live. But with that being said, looking at the story, it's so damn hard to bet against Drake Maverick, because not only do you set up the most emotional way to prove why you belong here, why you are a wrestler, and nothing will ever stop you from what you're doing, but if they don't go with the ladder match, there's a different scenario then of this brash, full of himself, super confident bully in Jordan Devlin facing the ultimate underdog of the Cruiserweight division, now your champion, defending the title. For a title, I might add. Because I'm pretty damn sure Drake Maverick still has his title in the UK. And I'm looking forward to seeing that confrontation. And it's for that reason, the storytelling, the emotional investment, the ultimate outcome I can see. And the fact that I think the match sales are not double the he-ho. I've got to go, too, with Drake Maverick winning.
I still think they can do the ladder match, though. You still can really do the ladder match and have it. I still think the storytelling would deem it to be a ladder match. You recreate history like you did at WrestleMania 10, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon. You recreate that history and make it something special. Even if Drake Maverick has it for that short time and he does lose it to the Irish Ace, it can be an incredible story telling because Jordan Devlin's going to be full of piss and vinegar. And you said Irish Ace versus the ultimate underdog. He's more of an underdog than Rey Mysterio ever was, if you really think about it.
That's saying something. And not to mention, this is NXT that they would put this under and book it under. You have Shawn Michaels as one of the creative minds behind NXT. The very man involved in this scenario would claim as the first ever ladder match, where 2 Intercontinental titles were on the line to crown the undisputed Intercontinental Champion. If this does not be the ultimate finale setup to this entire Cruiserweight division, for now, I don't know what can be. Okay, so we talked about the winner. Let's talk about the loser, potentially. And I mean that in a nice way. Are the Master Sands going to attack this guy after the match, finally take him off, or are they going to reveal themselves? Who's it going to be? What the hell happened to Raul Mendoza and the other guy that I can't remember? So let's go ahead and pose this as our simple stance, because I talked about this briefly with the guys on Aftermatch Wrestling last night, and there are 2 people that Jerry, shout out to the General Jerry Slaughter, please follow him on Twitter and Instagram, folks. He proposed that it could potentially be Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. You and I, a long time ago, proposed the idea of Ricochet being a part of 205 Live, because that is a huge name that could elevate the brand, either as champion or just on name value alone. And Cedric Alexander, there are not enough things to be said about Cedric Alexander's contributions and run on 205 Live. If those 2 were to come back as assailants, heels, and try and rule the 205 Live division or reshape it in a way under their own age, that would be extremely interesting to me. Because as of right now, there's been no hide or tell of Cedric Alexander or Ricochet. What's next for the 2? And what does that leave Raul Mendoza as well? Or is this a whole type of thing where it's like a Latino type thing? We're going to get more like debuts. Is Ivelisse involved in this somehow too, who has not been involved at all, I might add, on NXT TV? And she is with the PC, last I checked. Chris, your thoughts on this whole underlying storyline within NXT, but more so, I think, contributed to the Cruiserweight division. Who are the masked assailants? What do you see happening? Do you finally see it come into fruition this Wednesday after this Cruiserweight Championship match? Your thoughts?
Yes, I actually agree with Jerry 100%, actually, for once, because we normally don't agree always on everything. We have two different methods. Ricochet and Cedric Alexander would make sense. Ricochet, like I said, such a talented athlete and wrestler for them, what they did. Like I said, I can understand him losing to Lesnar, but come on, Riddick Moss for the 24/7. What have they done with him as of late? Cedric Alexander had his moments with trying to chase for the U.S. title with AJ Styles. Let them both be the assailants. Let them let them play the heel role. The only worry I worry about is how athletically gifted both men are. You know what I'm about to say. It's hard to be a heel when you're athletically gifted, all the high-flying moves you're able to do. It's very hard to get the crowd to hate you because of that. So they're going to have to do something different. Whether they change up and do more of a mat game, change it up a little bit, they got to do something completely different with both their characters for it to be successful. Maybe they kidnap Raul Mendoza and whoever the heck else. I'm sorry, whoever the heck else got kidnapped, my bad. Neither one of us can remember who you are. I'm sorry, folks. But whoever the other guy was.
Oh, it was Joaquin Wild. It was Joaquin Wild.
There you go. Wow, how dare we forget? We actually like Joaquin Wild, a.k.a. former Z-Man.
I had to think for a moment, like, who's part of the Cruiserweight division and who has not been involved in forever. It was Joaquin Wild. That was the other one.
But maybe they kidnapped him because they need him to form a group. Maybe they're going to end up forming some kind of group in the 205 Live brand. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But I think it may play out to be a scenario. Like I said, I have a feeling Drake Maverick's going to win this title on Wednesday, whether it's by a roll-up, by hook, by crook. You got to remember, in any championship tournament, even in the finals, there will be a champion crowned, whether it's by disqualification or count-out. You need to remember that, folks. There still will have to be you can't have not a champion if somebody gets disqualified or counted out. We've seen it in wrestling history before. Somebody's going to be the interim cruiserweight champion. Do I see it being a straight pinfall? No, I still think these masked men will reveal themselves to be Cedric Alexander and Ricochet, and therefore they will end up helping Drake Maverick win the Cruiserweight Championship.
Well, there's also that whole idea that WWE now set up their arena as a hockey thing, so it'll be kind of hard for them to come into the arena, too. They would have to come straight out from the entranceway. So, like, maybe the lights dim or some weird, cheesy entrance music plays or video graphic pops up. The lights go out, lights go off, boom. You got 4 masked men surrounding the ring. They reveal themselves as Ricochet, Cedric, Joaquin, and Raul. And then you find out who the leader of this is, too, because someone has to be behind this, or maybe it was Ricochet behind the scenes. He wasn't the ones known as King Ricochet. Shout out to NJPW, especially Super Juniors. So it's really all up in the air right now. And again, we have seen high nor tail of Joaquin Wild around Mendoza since freaking they got kidnapped. We don't even know if they were the masked men that were trying to attack Akira Tozawa just to get to El Hijo. But clearly these men, they have some sort of agenda, and it involves El Hijo for some reason. And apologies if I screwed up that name, folks. I'm not Latino. But that being said, I honestly can't wait for Wednesday solely just for this. So with that being said, I don't know if much else has to be said except Drake Maverick. Good luck. I'm with you. I'm rooting for you to win. And also, I will say this, Chris. I've been watching classic pay-per-views on the WWE Network, and I've been watching Judgment Day. There was a scenario one year where they were trying to crown a vacant World Heavyweight Champion. And due to count-out, but then again, excuse me, Vicky Guerrero looking out for her husband, maybe that was just story interest, she did say, and I quote, under common conditions, a championship cannot change hands via disqualification or countout. And with William Regal being the GM that he is, and NXT showing clearly integrity with their matches, it seems, because NXT doesn't really do that a lot as far as screwy finishes, except for freaking Robot Charlotte screwing up Rhea. And never mind, that's a different story. Anyway, I honestly don't see this match ending screwy way. It's got to end up surprisingly either submission or pinfall. The thing is, though, Drake Maverick, he has yet to show me he can pull off a submissions-based victory. So he's going to have to be tenacious, sneaky, and clever, and I think he's going to get a pinfall victory for this. And we're going to learn who these match standards are before the freaking hacker on SmackDown. And that's all I got to say about that. With that being said, Wednesday can't come soon enough. I am looking very forward to the finale of this and the aftermath and hopefully the return of the Irish Edge Jordan Devlin, setting up what should be the ultimate Cruiserweight Championship match, story-wise, if nothing else. Well, that being said, I think we are done here for now with this return edition of 205 Live Matters. Thank you so much, everybody, for your patience joining along the ride and being part of the fun and conversation, and always appreciate your support. I hope we once again engage you in why we believe and appreciate and respect Cruiserweight Wrestling. We hope to bring more towards you, and I would like to say later on this summer, me and Chris Mays, we will be bringing a simple take on the Cruiserweight Classic. Our favorite matches, moments, and of course, some of our biggest takeaways. And if we were to fantasy book our own Cruiserweight Classic, who would it might involve or contend to? So stay tuned for more on that. Chris, it's good to be back with 205 Matters. It's good to be back with you, man. This was a hell of a lot of fun. We got to figure out a day now, I get to say it, obviously. Anything you want to plug, and where can people find you?
And also, folks, we will be working on something with obscure matches of Cruiserweight history about different matches that don't really get talked about, folks. So we'll be just doing something like that. Hidden gems, and I will give you an example of one here real quick. We may discuss this match after we both watch it again, but everybody talks about Bash at the Beach 96, the big moment, Hogan, the whole heel turn. Yeah. Guess what match was on that show? You had an 18-minute match, Dean Malenko defending the WCW Cruiserweight Championship against Disco Inferno, which made people realize that Disco Inferno could actually wrestle, folks, instead of being a Disco Beaver.
To this day.
Yep, a 18-minute match that was actually a very good match. But those are kind of matches we're going to try to look at and talk about, whether it's in TNA, Impact, New Japan, just obscure hidden gem matches in Cruiserweight or Junior Heavyweight, Ring of Honor, especially some of the matches they have for the Pure Championship were classic matches. We'll look up some different matches to talk about and recommend here in the future definitely from the past. There's a lot of great Cruiserweight wrestling history definitely to check out. But my plugs are simple. Like I said, I appreciate everybody again. Thank you for all the love and support for after what happened on Memorial Day. Like I said, I appreciate all that. You can message me or find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I will get back to work on the YouTube channel again once everything goes back to somewhat of a normal life, folks. But I appreciate it. Everybody who's showed me love and support and message, donated to the GoFundMe, everything like that. I'm very humbled and honored by that. Thank y'all very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, simple as that. Like I said, man, care about you. You're one of my closest friends. Mad respect. Appreciate you. I'm just glad everything's working out for you, too. And it's great to be back talking Cruiserweight Wrestling with you. And who knows what else. And, hey, why not? Why not next episode? Let's talk about that very match and go from there. And maybe I'll put in a poll at the end of this video. I forgot to do polls. And I'll ask y'all, do you want to see us talk about a Cruiserweight match from WWF or WWE, WCW, TNA, Ring of Honor? Feel free to answer that poll. I'm going to work on that, too. I need to get back on the Facebook group as well. Again, work and life's just been, but I digress. Anyway, thank you again, Chris. It's great to be back. Folks, you want to know more about me, this brand, this channel? Know this. I'm just a simple man. And if you haven't figured it out by now, I am a lifelong fan of, whoopsie, that was the wrong button, Botch.
Botchamania.
It's running wild, brother. But I was going to say I'm a lifelong fan of wrestling, as you can tell by the background. And also I have a shirt. So anyway, if you want to follow me and talk anything wrestling, the 5 brands of WWE, and not limited to, I feel like I should say that, Impact Wrestling, AEW, NWA, Ring of Honor, Stardom, New Japan Pro Wrestling, my number one, Pro Wrestling Noah, and so much more under the sun. look me up on Twitter. NoDQ.com/know it takes to my Twitter page or at nfoster1916 on Instagram. Give you a nice hello, songs by Journey, moments and thoughts in wrestling, and so much more. It's just something to brighten up your day. We need more positivity in this world more than ever. I hope to encourage that with others. So with that being said, support independent wrestling, of course, too. Support NoDQ. The reason I got into YouTube, I have a shirt, as you can see. So please, buy my shirt. Buy my friend's shirt. Do it. NoDQ.com/mercy in the store. Follow NoDQ.com on our social media platforms. Your opinions matter. Comments is everything. Polls, columns, memes, gifts, reviews, recaps, polls, sexy female pics. You name it, it's there. We should talk about female cruiserweight wrestling, too, because there has been some great female cruiserweight wrestling over time. Anyway, you name it, it's there. Primarily WWE, independent wrestling, and AEW, with a little bit of other stuff, too. And also, just follow this little YouTube channel here, youtube.com/no-10 for your weekly dose of wrestling, primarily #205LiveMatters and all elite wrestling as of right now. Stay tuned as me and the Holiday will be doing Simple Predicted Wrestling, Simple Holiday Edition for NXT TakeOver in your house. And there will be a forum for the NoDQ Galaxy as well to once again participate, including your girl Rebecca, in NoDQ Galaxy Predictions League, where currently Rebecca, she is the champion. And as always, I like to...
Yep.
Yeah, she's brilliant. Again, you never know who might bring some from brilliance to wrestling. And as always, I like to close. Support your wrestling outlets, big and small, including independent wrestling. And let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite, authentic, unapologetic, unscripted, elite wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this return to the Cruiserweight Division and this edition of 205 Live Matters. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell to know when next video goes live on this channel. Hit the subscribe button, help me grow the channel, help me reach out to more of the wrestling community. I want to encourage more people to express their passion and their creativity in their own way. And if you need further proof, go to my channel's homepage. You'll find the wrestling community section where you'll find Chris Mace's channel and all my friends in NoDQ and Beyond's YouTube channel as well. Shout out to a few of them such as Jen, Neo Reality Entertainment, I'm horrible with names, folks. Cody Likes Wrestling, Josh Mania. I could go on and on. Aftermatch Wrestling, Cindy G, you name it, it's there. They're all good wrestling people, wrestling folks. Please give them a follow. Anyway, until the next video, which will be either Simply Predicted Wrestling when it uploads or the next AEW Spark. Chris, you want to be on? Let me know. I hope you all take care, enjoy life. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Enjoy wrestling. There's more of it now than ever. Find what connects to you. Support one another. Treat one another equally and fairly. And please, don't be a bully. Show compassion. Show friendship. Show humility. Let's try and bring a better positive vibe to this shattered world. More than ever. It needs that sort of encouragement like us and from us in order for us all to get through this together. Because we will get through this. Nothing lasts forever. Not even the madness going on right now, besides Steve Carino, and who knows what the heck else might happen now that we're in June, because I know how many people are going to bring up so much stereotypical nonsense because of what this month stands for. I will not be one of them. Simple as that. So again, until the next video, take care, enjoy life, respect one another, treasure your families. Tomorrow's never guaranteed, as good old JR puts it. There's never been a bigger truth than that statement, especially now. And I hope you all have a good night.
Have a good night, y'all.
And remember, you knew damn well I was going to say this, longtime followers. No matter how much you criticize me for it, or the brand itself, or the direction, I and Chris Mace and the few others that follow along with me will always believe that 205 Live matters. Always.
Indeed.
And Funaki will always be SmackDowns. Number one! I love it. All right, we're done here, folks, for now. Goodbye, everybody.
Good night, y'all.
Good luck, Drake.